Alright, so the story for Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, follows young Oliver, who is a regular kid, about 8 or 9 years old, maybe 10, and he does errands for his mom, he hangs out with his friends, he's a regular kid, and after a freak car accident where a car that his friend Phil made for him to test drive crashes and he falls into the water, his mom comes and rescues him, and she has a heart attack and sadly passes away. And of course, young Oliver is very upset because he has no father and now he has no mother. Oh, sad. But luckily, Oliver does that Disney cliche where he starts crying onto something and that something springs to life, and his little doll that he starts crying on actually turns into Drippy, the Lord of the Fairies. And this Drippy character tells Oliver that, dude, you are the pure-hearted one. That means you can defeat this evil wizard named Shadar. You need to come to my world and help me train in the magic arts of wizardry and go and stop this guy before he takes over my world and everybody in it. Oliver agrees to do this only because if he does this, there is a chance that he can actually save his own mom in his own world. So he, of course, does it, and throughout the adventure, he learns different spells and meets a bunch of different characters. Some will actually come onto his team, and he meets a bunch of different creatures that he can actually control as his own. The story here is very, very well done, even though it feels very familiar where, of course, you're a kid, you don't have many powers, but later on you acquire more powers and you, of course, acquire more teammates, and then at the end, of course, you have to go and fight the evil dude. And it's pretty familiar, but you know what? It's very well written. It can even be very funny and very charming at times, and I really love all the characters and all the dialogue that each character gives, and just some of the little set pieces in there I just thought were fantastic. So you know what? Overall, I think the story here was fantastic, and I loved every second of it, to be honest. So yeah, there you go. All the characters are great. Ni no Kuni has a great story. But now let us talk about the sound, which of course, Ni no Kuni is a JRPG, so usually the voice acting isn't the best, but I was very surprised to say that I actually really liked the voice acting here. Now there was a couple that were very meh, like the main character, the kid that voices him, he isn't great. He's okay. He's not great though, but for the most part, everybody in this cast has like a British accent or Australian or even an Irish accent, but for the most part, everybody did a very good job here. I really like the voice cast in this game. Now, the sound design itself is great as well, but what I really want to talk about is the soundtrack, which is so whimsical and so fun to listen to, and every time I hear it, I just want to go beat up some monsters, but I don't want to do it in a violent way. I just want to do it in a fun, cheerful way, because this game just looks cheerful and looks so much fun, and that's something I've been missing in games lately, because I've been playing so many violent games. This game's just cheerful, and the soundtrack really represents that perfectly. I love the soundtrack, and I love the sound overall, so there you go. The sound for this game is great. And now the graphics, which, let me just say this, Ni no Kuni looks like a Studio Ghibli movie in 3D. And of course all the animated sequences are made by Studio Ghibli, but when it gets into 3D, it looks so phenomenal. It really does. All the character models, all the little animations, if you just stand still, it looks like a 2D, just a picture that you took from a Studio Ghibli movie, and it looks so amazing, so breathtaking. Over the world shots whenever you're walking through the world hub looks amazing. When you get into towns, it's so well detailed, so colorful. The color scheme's fantastic. It looks so great. And like I said, the animated cutscenes are Studio Ghibli, so that means it's amazing. Studio Ghibli, I love you, and the guys that made this game, you did a great job with the graphics. So yeah, graphically, it looks amazing. And now we get into the final portion, which of course is the gameplay. And if you do not know, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch is a JRPG, but this one does a little bit something different, at least for me, because I don't play too many JRPGs, but when I do, it's either a turn-based strategy game or a straight-up action hack-and-slash game. And this one actually combines both of them, which I actually really dug. Whenever you're in the world hub or in a little section where you have to go and fight your way to a boss fight or something, you'll see creatures just roaming around, and you can try to evade them if you don't want to fight, or you can actually go up to them and attack them. And when you attack them, it enters into this little battle sequence, which in part is turn-based because you have to select what attacks you want to do. but it's also real time because you actually move around and like maneuver behind creatures and do some strategic strikes. And what's really cool in this game is that you get creatures called familiars, which are pretty much Pokemon. When you get a familiar, you have to use this little harp thing that one character gets that serenades them, and then you could capture them like a Pokeball, and then you can use them whenever you want. And there's a wide variety of them, and each one actually can level up and then of course evolve into a different creature, which is really cool. And each one of these creatures actually have their own different attacks and can acquire different attacks and stuff. And you can use each one to go and, of course, battle with. And it just adds a lot of variety to the battles when you have a bunch of different Pokemon-esque creatures that you can throw out and have fun with. And the battle system is a lot of fun. Just like, it's very strategic. Try to get behind someone, use this spell or use that attack. I thought it worked extremely well and became very addicting just to go into random encounters and just fight and, of course, level up all your creatures and all your teammates and stuff, and acquire new abilities and acquire new items to use. I just love that. I really found this to be very addicting and one of the most addicting JRPGs I've ever played. And seeing that this is a open world game, you have plenty to explore, plenty of things to fight, plenty of side missions to do from each town that has plenty of bounty hunt missions, which is pretty much you going to fight a big tough creature, or you of course taking on side missions where you have to go and find something or give this to someone that someone knows or something. And for the most part, those are a lot of fun. Those aren't really amazing story wise, but you know what, if you want some extra money or extra items or something, those are great for you. And another thing I have to commend this game for is making the experience still feel fresh after 15 or 20 hours into the game by adding new things for you to see or to explore or to do in the combat. I really like that. I really enjoyed that they kept giving you new stuff, and I love that about this game. And most JRPGs I play don't really do that, which is sad, but this one definitely did. I absolutely love Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. I thought the story, the sound, the graphics were amazing. The gameplay was phenomenal. I love this game. It's very addicting, very, very fun. Definitely go try this game out, even if you're not a JRPG fan like me, because it is definitely worth your time. There you go. There's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and goodbye.
But somehow, I just know you can beat him.